Welcome into the Dynasty Deal Show. I am not Ty DeClaire, but I will be hosting tonight. We have Shane at Shane Says FF and Brandon. First time on Dynasty Deal Show with Brandon, the BG-C, and then myself, Charles Chill, FFB. This is the Dynasty Deal Show every single Friday night. It's normally Ty DeClaire, but he's a little under the weather tonight, so we're going to be ripping this trade show. And boys, we have a full cast of trades and questions to get through tonight. If you are new, if you're already a part of our community, you see us in there every day. If you're not, patreon.com/allgas or ddfantasyfootball.com. Both. You can get in the Discord for free, mock draft, chat, etc. And then also every Friday night we do this show, Dynasty Deal Show, live at 8 o'clock. Live on DDFFB. If you're watching back on the replay, consider supporting our community in one way or the other. But Brandon, first time tonight, but I know you have watched. You know the one rule, right? When you hear this, that means shut up and move on to the next question. No, that's the mean way of saying it, but it's time to move on, because we have a lot going on tonight. This is the first Dynasty Deal Show post-Combine, so we're going to get into it with the first question. The Jackson Tribe. Shane, I'm going to start with you. 12 by 9, 1.0 tight end premium, so I assume 2 PPR, 0.5 running back premium. Now, I don't know what that means, but if that's 0.5 point per carry, Shane, let's hear the Shane math real quick.
Let's see. What was it? 0.5?
0.5 point per carry. How many points do you get for 10 carries, Shane?
50. Yeah, 50 points. So running backs, the war on it is insane. I'm going to go check out the war on it.
There is no running back war because it's off the screen. No, literally. He says 0.5 running back premium. If that's 0.5 point per carry, that's pretty ridiculous. I mean, you're getting like Tyler Allgeier's the best receiver in the league, just getting 15 carries. He's smashing. But anyway, 23-man roster retool. Trade T. Higgins for the 107 and Brashard Smith. First trade, Shane. T. Higgins for 107 and Brashard Smith. And remember the premium. If it's 0.5, if it's point per carry, what are your thoughts?
I am thinking that I will trade T. Higgins straight up for the 107, let alone getting a free Brashard Smith, which, quite frankly, who cares? It's Brashard Smith. We all have the same hat on. Who cares? It's Brashard Smith. But he is a human being. He's a running back. So in this format, maybe he could have some value. Probably not, but that's okay. 107 for T. Higgins, I'm good with that. We've seen what T. Higgins is, his ceiling. He's a wide receiver too, and that's okay at his ceiling, and likely to be a wide receiver 3 some weeks. So I'm fine with this. It's 12 by 9. I know T. Higgins is hitting your lineup in a 12 by 9, but I'm also he's trying to retool, and I'm also just going to shoot upside. Again, since I know what T. Higgins is, and he's like 26, 27, 28 years old. I don't know. He's somewhere in that range. I think the die is cast and know what he's going to be from both a production and a value aspect.
Next trade, same format. He traded Christian McCaffrey for a 27 first and Shedeur Sanders on a whim. What do you think about that one?
What does that mean on a whim? Like he wasn't even thinking about it.
You were driving home one day, you got to a stoplight, and you're like, oh, I'll just send out McCaffrey for a 27 first. Like, just no real plan. Just on a whim, decided to get rid of him, and he was gone.
Yeah, you shouldn't drive and trade. But I'm fine with this. You're retooling, right? The one thing I will say, I feel like McCaffrey would probably be worth more as the season nears. We do have 6 months until that happens. It's not like you trade it for a 26 pick, which obviously you have to do before May, right? Or April. I don't feel like you have to move McCaffrey right now. So that's the one thing. I probably would have held on to McCaffrey just a little longer.
Yeah, and that point per carry, like if it's truly 0.5 point per carry, it feels like McCaffrey, even if he just plays half the games, is still a hammer when he plays. Brandon, I'm going to go to you for the second part. This was a retool, but he was actually on the buy side of that T. Higgins trade. And then the sell side of the Christian McCaffrey trade. This is the roster. When you see this roster, Brandon, what in a start 9, I mean, what's your impression here? Because it feels like in a start 9, I don't know. What's your thoughts? It says it's a retool, but retool can mean numerous things. But we traded for Higgins and then traded away CMC. What do you think about this team?
I mean, it's an interesting team. It's got good quarterbacks. It's got a good tight end. It would be much better if it had CMC, and especially, I'm looking down. It's a 0.5 PPR for running back. So it's like
he says RB premium. You guys take RB premium as its point per carry, right?
Yeah. I can't. I mean, yeah. I mean, it could be. It's either still CMC
something boosting running backs, right?
Something boosting. Yeah. I mean, if you're retooling, sure, but you probably could have. Why do you still have Algier then? Why do you still have J.K. Dobbins? Why do you still have Devontae Adams, Travis Kelce?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the chat. The chat says 0.5 PPR for running backs. So it's not running back carries. So it's not 50 points per carries. Shane.
Are you sure? It's 50 points.
No, he says it in the chat. He says it's 1.5 PPR for running backs. I mean that.
Okay.
I guess when I see running back premium, it's point per carry.
That's the first thing I think of.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless, still, I think there's still some pieces that he has to get off of if you're going to retool, but some of those pieces probably don't need to be moved right now. Like he shouldn't have moved CMC right this second, but he could have moved them. But, once we get into point scoring season, guys like Devontae Adams, Matt Stafford, Travis Kelce, if he's still playing, we're not sure if he's going to play. Tyler Algier could probably be moved next week after free agency. Once he lands there, people will be boosted and wanting to take him. Same thing with maybe there's Jacksonville has nobody alongside Bashal Tootin. So maybe you move him. Like there's just, you got to find the pockets in the windows with some of these guys.
If this team, 1.5 premium for McCaffrey in PPR is not as much as point per carry, but it's still a big boost to him. I mean, he's elevating even higher than many of the other running backs, getting 1.5 per catch, given that he's a great receiver. But can this team win, Brandon? Because if you say it can't, I mean, what are you doing with Travis Kelce, Matt Stafford, J.K. Dobbins? Like, he feels like you just have to wait on every other piece. Devontae Adams. Like, I don't know. I'm fine with it, but the Higgins deal is the one where I'm kind of like, man, in this format, like, I probably could have done something different with the 107. You know what I mean? Because if my team's not going this year, T. Higgins isn't a future piece. Like, sure, he'll exist in the future, but he isn't somebody that I have to get right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would have maybe tiered out of CMC into like, a younger running back plus instead of just going straight for Shedeur Sanders, because you're not starting Shedeur Sanders
in a 12 by 9.
Honestly, in a 12 by 9, how many times are you starting at Shedeur Sanders, especially over Shuck?
I think it was the 27 first, and then he got whatever he could get on top, and he just took it.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. But then, why are you trading for T. Higgins then? Because if you're trading for T. Higgins, you're generally doing something like that. You're trading for an elderly wide receiver because you think you can win now. Then you trade CMC, and it's 1.5 point per reception, which is better for Christian McCaffrey because he's not particularly a good running back anymore, but he's still a very good wide receiving running back. Wide receiving? Sure. A receiving option out of the backfield. Like the dude, I don't even know what the scoring was last year, but he probably, I would assume, was the leading point getter in per game.
All right. He's saying that he didn't make the deal yet down in the chat. He says that I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't take Higgins. I would just hold on to the 107 and see if you can maybe get into another running back that's a little younger. Maybe you can take Tootin or Algier in that 107. What can I get? What aging? What Shane? Who would you get? Who would you target? Who would you target at that point? Like that's probably a little bit too much for Derrick Henry, but maybe there's a step
in this setting.
Well, wait.
Oh wait, it's 1.5.
He says he hasn't done the deal, and
so
that's the reason Higgins is still on his roster. So he's getting 107 for Higgins, and Shane was like, "I'm taking that."
Well, So that is what happening, right?
Yeah,
okay,
so I take
that. We were confused because the way he asked the question was like the deals were done, but really one of them was done and one of them was pending, and the one that he has, he messed my dog. So
I wasn't confused. Gosh. I was on top of it, and then you guys confused me by getting it wrong, and I thought maybe I was incorrect. But no,
we're just gonna blame this all on Ty not being here. Ty stabilizes the ship.
The key is, listen, Jackson Tribe, I love you, but when you say trade T. Higgins for the 107 and there's no question mark, that makes it read like you did it. right? So we're going to judge the
No.
trade as like it's done. Now, if it said
No,
question mark,
Jackson.
we'd go fine.
Jackson, I understand what you're saying because I do the same thing. I ask questions without the question mark, and I expect people to know that it's a question. And the tone that I have in my head, I expect them to infer that in what they're reading.
So what I would do then is I would, yes, trade for the 107. And if I wanted to compete or I wanted to retool, I would try to use that 107 and Tyler Algier or Bashal in whichever one gets a more favorable free agent like situation to happen to it, and see if I can get into a younger running back to pair with Harvey, because you already punted away CMC for a 27 first.
Or try to add Tootin to the 107 and try to get a 27 first and just keep going.
Yeah. Yep. Just keep going. Yeah. Something like that. But that's what I would try to do. I would try to take one of those dudes and move it along.
Dynasty Marc. Brandon, we'll start with you. It's 12 by 10, 1.5 premium, 6 point per passing touchdown. May Purdy. I assume that's Mac Jones, Kirk Cousins, Deshaun Watson, and Cans. Deshaun Watson has raised above Can status at this point. We list him and then we list Cans. It's always fascinating when we see the players people will list and then Cans. You're like, hey, Sean Tucker, that's kind of a can. Point is, it's funny. K9, Scattaboo, Rashad White, and then Rashad White. I guess Pitt is Pittman. I was thinking Pitts, but we are still in receiver mode here. So Jaden Reed, Xavier Worthy, and then Bowers, Henry, Gadsden, Hawkinson, and the 101. So here you go, Brandon. 12 by 10, 1.5. Some good assets here. Startup just finished. Have an inbox offer of Judkins and Jetta. So we get J Jets and Judkins, but we give up the 101 Scattaboo, Jaden Reed. He says he feels super thin at receiver, big wide receiver runs in the rounds. He was hoping to get them. Feels very off because I usually build around stud receivers and they didn't fall his way. So here's the team. You give up 101, Cam Scattaboo, and Jaden Reed for a package of Justin Jefferson and Quinshawn Judkins. What do you think, Brandon?
I don't love it. First glance, don't love it. Let's just say Scattaboo and Judkins are about the same.
You like Jettas or 101? Would you even give up 101 for Jets?
I don't think that, and that's where I'm at. I don't think I'd give up the 101.
The deal's dead right there.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, some people will, but I don't think I want to do that right this second. I don't know. What about you guys?
I think it's blasphemous to say that you would not give up the 101 for Justin Jefferson. But I am a heretic. So, yeah, no, I'm not doing that either. Absolutely not. There's no chance. Just not doing it. He's a 20. I'm not even going to get into his age. We're all about running backs nowadays, man. Catch me 3 years ago, and Shane would have said, whatever that wide receiver, top 5 wide receiver was, top 10 wide receiver, give me that. But that ain't where we are. The currency, the thing that matters in dynasty football right now is the running back. And it just so happens that the running back that you can take with the 101 is already pretty much up in the same, not the same tier as Bijan, but not Gibbs, but like that a chain next tier. He's already there. Dude hasn't taken a carry in the NFL and he's already there.
You know why I like it is because, the receiver room doesn't feel great, but this receiver room of obviously Rice, if he plays, we all know that, but then Pittman, Reed, Worthy, and then you have a second tight end with Gadsden that you could flex. Even in a 1-5, maybe Hawkinson could sneak into a flex. I don't know, but this is why you have a receiver room like this. You're just going to play him. Do I love Jaden Reed or Xavier Worthy? No, but you know what? On this team, you just start them. And when they're wide receiver 24 and 31, you just live with it. Like, that's how you built the team. Like, what I'm not doing is taking my one elite asset and moving it to receiver, because then guess what? I then put Xavier Worthy on my bench. And then I start Cam Scattaboo or Rashad White. And instead, right now, I'd rather flex one of those guys. I think it's just you don't have the assets in the spots that you want. But I don't think it makes your team better to do this trade. You just don't feel good about your receivers because you feel like I got to build around them. But no pressure. I'm not doing this deal. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, just live in the uncomfortable. I think that's really what Scott's talking about, is just live in the uncomfortable. Like, you don't need to fix it by throwing your 101 at it. Like, if you really want a wide receiver, trade the 101. It's probably the most liquid 26 pick we got. If you want to tier down and go get 103 and go get something else, go for it. Then then go get a wide receiver. But you don't need to be punting your 101 just to make that, to get Jefferson.
Mark, this is exactly what you want to do. You just float the 101 out there, but I'm shooting higher than Justin Jefferson. I'm willing to stream receiver with the way you built the team. Might not feel good. It's definitely not going to feel good. And all those receivers you have are going to be at risk of falling out of the range they are if they don't have good years. But I'm willing to live with it. Appreciate the question. Next up, Russell Yost. Shane, we're going to you. 12 by 10, 1.75 premium. It is 0.2 point per carry. That's how you say running back premium right there. PPC. There's no ambiguity to it. We got Amarian Hampton, Luther Burden, and a mid-27 first. We gave Ashton Genty, Emeka Egbuka, and Brenton Strange. Again, a 1.75 premium, Shane. Genty, Egbuka, and Strange going away. Hampton, Burden, and a mid-27 first coming our way. What do you think?
I mean, Hampton, Burden, Genty, Ibuka feels like roughly a wash to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then a first for Brenton. I don't even Brandon Strange, whatever. It doesn't matter. You gave up Brenton Strange and got back a first, basically, is essentially what happened. Because the other pieces are all, I don't care about their names. I don't care if I have Jenny or Hampton. I don't care if I have Burden or Ibuka, either one. You can mix and match those four dudes or whatever order you'd like to. But yeah, the dude, I mean, I assume he must be really big on Genty and Ibuka to give up a first, to add a first to that deal. And all he wanted back was Brenton Strange. And I bet you Brenton Strange is probably one of those things that was added at the end just to make him feel better. So I like this deal a lot for you, to be quite honest with you.
So, Brandon, it's obviously 0.2 point per carry. And here's what he says. He says, with this team, should I look at more running back depth since he's top heavy? He could tear down at wide receiver. He kind of already did that, right? He got value here going from Egbuka to Burden and in a point per carry where you probably want to flex running backs. He's rolling out Gibbs, Hampton, Chase Brown. And he still has London and Nico and Ladd that he could tear quote unquote down off of. And then he got nice credit for Brenton Strange in a league where he already has Bowers and Warren. I mean, how cute are you getting here, Brandon? This feels like he's already at a good spot, right?
I think he's in a great spot. The only thing I would probably do now is maybe if you want, maybe take like Nico or somebody, if you can pull back up the roster, like maybe you take Burden since he's got some upward mobility right now. Like maybe you take that with maybe Malik Willis because he's another player. Like the thing that happened in this trade is you got three dudes with upward mobility, Hampton, Burden, and the mid-27 first. Like they're all ascending in value. Not to say that Genty, Ibuka, and Strange can't, but like Ibuka has kind of been like the sentiment has kind of soured a little bit on him, right? But Genty and Strange are still pretty strong assets, but you got three on the other side. I would take Willis and I would take Burden because you're going to want to probably start Nico in London, and you'll be okay if you start Ladd. And I would see what I could possibly do to maybe shore up the QB2. Maybe I can get maybe I can get a rushing quarterback, an upgrade at rushing quarterback because of the 0.2 PPC.
Yeah, Shane. I mean, Shane nailed it with the first part. You got a 27 first for Brenton Strange. Yeah, everything else, I can live with the preference of not having Genty or Hampton or Burden or Egbuka. Like those are, I don't want to say they're coin flips, but they're 60-40 deals. But dude, I got Brenton Strange and I got a first. I mean, can't beat that.
I see little chance that Brenton Strange will ever be worth a first in his career. I could be wrong, but I'm not wrong. So, no.
Yep. All right. Appreciate it, Russell. We got Mike Conron. Mike says 12 by 10, half PPR, 1.5 premium. He sent the 110, Jaden Reed, and Jarquez Hunter.
He won.
For Rasheed Rice. Brandon, easy win.
Win.
Getting some credit for Jarquez Hunter in 2026.
You're getting credit. Good. You're getting credit for Jarquez and Jaden Reed.
And sure. Jaden Reed. Yep. That's but you know what? I guess if you find the right fish with that bait for Rasheed Rice, this is somebody that's like, I probably would have done it for the 110 or close to it. And you're giving me some free shit. I'll just take it.
Yeah. That's just someone that wanted to move off of Rice. Like they were hell bent on doing it. 110, they probably shot out offers to other people in the league, 107, 108, 109, and got rejected and said, all right, 110 it is, which is a weird time for it. Although I don't know when Mike made this trade, but Mike's in here literally every week.
Probably like today.
So probably, right. This would have made more sense to me 3 weeks ago or whenever it came out that Ray Rice.
You mean for the Rice seller, it would have made more
Yeah.
sense. Like now, you're not probably seeing as many panic sells, right?
Yeah, like I don't understand it. Like we got through the first initial wave of he's being accused of abuse. We got really past really quickly somehow the pictures of the ex. No criminal charges were filed, so why you're selling today as opposed to like 3 weeks ago doesn't really make sense to me. And you're still selling at the same price, the panic price. Like the panic is over. Like you should be clear-headed, but whatever. Good for Mike.
Quick on this one, he gave up the 201 and 308, got back Rico Dowdle and Mike Evans. We doing that too?
Yes.
Okay, is that any?
I would do almost both of them for the 201. And now
Yeah.
you're going to toss and I only got to toss in a third to get to Mike Evans. Like I would do either one of them for the 201. And then you give me I only have to kick in a late third. Sure.
Well, it's a start 10. You're consolidating, right? Like he just has sent now 5 pieces for probably 2 guys that he can start. And then Rico Dowdle probably right there on the fringe. Last one. Get both your opinions on this. He sends out Malik Neighbors in 106 for Puka and Jake Ferguson. Would you add more to his side if necessary? Here's the team. So remember that Puka and 106, or Jake Ferguson and Puka for the 106 and Malik Neighbors. He's got Daniels, Dart, and then backups. Rico Dowdle is his RB1, so that probably was a pretty big deal for him to get Rico Dowdle back in that other trade. Dowdle, Dobbins, Corum, B-Rob. I mean, he's just hoping for anybody to get roles there. But here's the deal. I mean, he's basically splitting Neighbors down, but he's also adding the 106 to go from Neighbors to Puka. What do you guys think about that on this roster? He's adding the 106 to Neighbors, but he's also adding Jake Ferguson in a 1.5 on a team he already has Kincaid and Helm.
I mean, Ferg would probably be the tight end one on this team, arguably.
So, I'd probably take Kincaid over him, but I guess the question is, are you comfortable sliding Ferg into a flex?
Yes. Yes, given what, you figure JD, Dart, you're probably only starting 2 running backs maximum. I don't know the exact what he has to start, but I'm only starting Dowdle and Dobbins at best. Well, he'll probably have Love because he has the 101. So let's just say Love and Dowdle. That's 4. If you get Puka, that's 5. Rice 6.
I mean,
Kincaid,
I don't want to
7.
flex. I don't want to flex a tight end in this format, especially a guy in Kincaid is at the kind of like the fringe of the tight ends you want to flex, and then Ferg is probably like a half a tier below that. But like Shane, do you really want to add the 106 to Neighbors to get Puka like on this roster right now? I mean, you're giving up the leverage. You're probably worried about the injury to a degree, and you're trying to lock in just a smash receiver because our wide receiver 1 is Rashee Rice at that point.
Look, man, no, I mean, I'd rather not. I understand the thought process behind it, though. It's like I just traded for the quarterback 2 in fantasy, which is basically what Puka scored as last year, or the 1. I don't know, up there. He would have been a difference-making quarterback at the wide receiver position. I don't love putting the 106 in there, too. Can you show me the rest of the roster? It's Jackson Dart, Jaden Daniels. The running back room looks troubled. I mean, the wide receiver room is good. I don't think I would want to do that, though. I probably want to use that 106 for something else.
Yeah, I mean, there it is. It's basically, he wants to know, would you add more to his side? So it doesn't sound like he can even get this deal done as it is. He might even have to add another piece.
Gunnar Helm. Like, can I toss Gunnar Helm in there because it's a 1.5 tight end premium?
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
What if he takes out Jake Ferguson? Would you still do it?
Yes. I would.
So Brandon would do it because
Shane.
He would just
here's
do
the
2
thing.
for 1.
Here's the thing. If I can get if I get the proven for multiple years war difference maker in Puka, yes,
I got you.
The 106 can't, like the 106 should. I mean, yes, I would much rather send the 110. But if I know, like looking at what Mike has and knowing how savvy he is, like I'm not going to let the 106 stare in the way of getting the Puka.
I get it. I mean, look, Puka is the big prize. No doubt. He is absolutely the big prize. So I get it.
And it takes him off the risk of having to run with Neighbors and Rice because you don't know if Neighbors is going to start week 1, even though he's looking healthy. And you're just not sure with the long-term, situation off the field with Rashee Rice. You just don't know how long he's going to be able to stay on the field. So I can see where he wants to go with Puka for 3 or 4 years.
And another good point, that team is basically praying that Dobbins, B-Rob, Dowdle, like those guys are year-to-year propositions. So to say, my receivers are just going to be bad this year because they're injured or not playing, and then I'll just wait again another year. Your running back room is already like, I need these guys today because tomorrow's not promised. So maybe that pushes you over the edge. Vaapad, we'll start with Brandon here. I think this is the first trade. Maybe got a second one set up. Second, we don't know anything about the format, I don't think. Did you guys see another Vaapad question in there? I didn't. Because it just says second.
I don't, but we can just go. We could just go with this one.
Nah, we'll favor it. We'll come back to it.
Okay.
We'll have him clarify because there's like 6 comments in there, but there isn't a one. It just starts with second. So we'll go with Roy's next.
Yep.
Roy, hello, gents. Been a while. Got 2 recent ones. The first one you were gonna hate. Brandon, let's see. Do you hate this one? Do you hate a 12x11 lineup, 2 PPR for tight ends, 0.25 point per carry? Gave up the 101 or 111 and 227 firsts for a Rondé Gadsden and Jalen Hurts. I'm aware of the loss of flexibility, but feel value could be worth it in his weakest spots. Here's the team currently. Burrow, Hurts, Rodgers, Bijan, Warren, Judkins, Brees, Spears, Woody Marks, Puka, G. Will, T, DJ Moore, DK, Alec Pierce, Gadsden, Goddard, and Kincaid. So there's the trade again. 111 and 227s for Gadsden and Hurts. You like that one, Brandon?
Yeah, 227 first for Jalen Hurts all day long. And then the 111 for Gadsden. I don't have to choose between stat. We just did a community mock this on Friday. Like, I don't want, like, there's not a tight end right there that I'm going to take over Gadsden at this point, value wise. I don't really want to take Mike Washington Jr., wide receiver 7. Like, it's fine. I actually like the deal for Roy. I don't know about you guys. I like it.
He paid the full freight for it. You know what I mean? 227 first, basically for Hurts, and 111 for Gadsden. That's cheap for Gadsden if I look at it that way. So maybe I look at it more like 1.25 first for Gadsden, and then 1 3/4 of a first for Jalen Hurts. I can live with that as well, especially in a 0.2 PPC. I'd expect you're going to see a lot more running out of Hurts next year as compared to this year. So I don't love the deal because I don't want to give up 227 first. And sure, you don't have a ton of flexibility, but you also have Bijan and Puka, G. Will, and you do have some flexibility because you still have Alec Pierce. So whenever he signs somewhere and he gets that bump, you have the DJ Moore bump that should have just happened. You could probably move that DJ Moore for a first. We talked about that on the drive this morning a little bit about what DJ Moore is worth. So I'd be fine with it.
I already gave a little feedback to Roy in the Discord. Here's why I didn't love it. It's 0.25 point per carry.
Mm-hmm.
Brees, Spears, Marks, Judkins, Warren, Bijan are all starters. Puka, G. Will, T, Moore, DK, Alec Pierce are starters. Kincaid, Gadsden are starters. Dallas Goedert could be a starter. You have a lot of starters here. And you basically just nuked Aaron Rodgers by trading for another quarterback, which is fine. But I agree with Shane. The way you recoup some of that flexibility here is to trade from the excess that you already have. Hell, I'm willing to trade Brees Hall, Garrett Wilson, T. Higgins.
Judkins.
Like, if I can't trade from the bottom of the guys I want to move, then yeah, Judkins, you can go. Like, I can liquidate 2 guys on my roster. And because it's a start 11, I don't need 15 startable skill players in a start 11 where 2 of them are QBs. You know what I mean? Like, I can probably get those 2 first back. My roster doesn't take a hit. Like, I wouldn't look at a team that has Kincaid and Goddard and say my tight ends are weak. You know what I mean? Like, they're not incredible, but they're not like I have nothing. So he can recoup it. Let's see. Second trade from Roy Shane. He sent Caleb Williams. This is another league, I assume. He sent Caleb Williams and received Jalen Hurts and Mike Evans in a 27 third. This is a 12x11 lineup league. A similar format, but it also has point per first down.
No,
kind of like Jalen Hurts more than
I'm
right there with Caleb or higher in a point per carry, and you get a free Mike Evans.
Yeah, I'm not even going to justify or dignify that with a response. I don't understand the question, and I won't respond to it.
Okay,
That is
so
so easily Jalen Hurts' side
oh,
that it's ridiculous. Like it's not even close to me. And
would
yes,
you have
it's a free
done it
Mike
on a
Evans.
team you have Burrow, Hurts, or Burrow, Caleb, and Dart? Would you have been wanting to liquidate Caleb for another QB?
I would have preferred to move Caleb for a wide receiver or a running back. I get that.
Point per carry, I would have loved to turn one of those dudes into a running back.
Yeah, but look, I still have Joe Burrow and I still have Dart, so I can still make that move, and I still ended up netted a free Mike Evans no matter what. Like Mike Evans, no matter what you got, is just an additional free piece. So now, if you turn around and trade Burrow for, I don't know, let's say somehow you Burrow and something for Gibbs. Okay, you know what I mean? Then I got Gibbs and what's that other guy's name? Mike Evans, basically, for the guy we just traded away. I don't even care about him anymore, Caleb Williams. So yes, I would do this.
30 seconds on this one, Brandon. How do you rectify this, or what do you do going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to move. I'm going to take Burrow and I'm going to take Swift, and I'm going to go try and upgrade at running back. I'm going to try to go get like James Cook plus. I'm going to go try to do something like that. Or I'm going to take Burrow and one of those wide receivers, and I'm going to go right up into the elite tier. I'll just spam all of them and see what I get, because I have Pickens, I have Jacoby, I have Evans. I got plenty there, and I'm good at tight end with Gadsden.
I think you take all your quarterbacks and then you combine them with a bunch of different players and send out like 20 trades. Mm-hmm. And they all are for the types of things that you want. Like you have flexibility more so just because you're already strong at QB. So I appreciate it. I see Vaapad potentially dropped his question. Which one is it? This one? Let's see. First message, start with this format. You guys see it? If you see it, put it up on the screen, because I don't.
That's the trade.
Okay, we'll go with that one first. First, send the 209, 404, and 10x4. Oh, I see where it was. There was a startup question. Let me get back to that. I saw it down here. It didn't go in order. That was the problem. Startup. I just read it. Here we go. On the clock now in that startup, debating between Ramondre, Gainwell, Fields, Riley Leonard. They're better backups still available, but I like the idea of getting, what's RL? What are we looking at in RL? Riley Leonard. Riley Leonard getting starts when Dimes comes back. Is that the first question of this?
I think he's asking who we would take on the startup, and he's debating between Ramondre, Gainwell, Fields, and Riley Leonard. Okay, well, he's leaning Leonard because Dimes might not be back week 1.
Okay, let's see if I can find it.
I mean, I probably would rank these guys. Not knowing the format, I would do Gainwell, Ramondre, Riley, Leonard, Fields.
Yeah, and I'm probably taking Ramondre Stevenson and Kenneth Gainwell over the backup quarterbacks.
Correct.
Because there's other backup quarterbacks. I don't view backup quarterbacks necessarily like in tiers. I just view them as their placeholders. So I'm not taking Riley Leonard if there's guys like Andy Dalton available 10 rounds later. You know what I mean? They're the same to me. So that's just how I would do it. All right. We had some other Vaapad ones. Let me hit these real quick. Second deal, send a 27 first and a 28 first. Received Jared Goff. He was already selected, and the 809 became Travis Etienne.
No, but he does. Make sure this is start. He was just giving us I was trying to give you the format. Where is it? 12 by 11, 2 QB, 3 tight end. This league.
2 QB.
Yeah.
3 tight end.
Blah, blah, blah. Wire trade, blah, blah, blah. 15 PPC. Okay, so what was the trade then? What was his new deal?
This one.
Send 20 first. No, I don't give a fuck if it, excuse my French or not, whatever. I don't really care. I don't care if it's 2 QB or not. That's I'm not giving up a first for Jared Goff. Not in this lifetime, not in the next lifetime, not in any lifetime that's ever existed for anything, species, in any universe. Like you could go across any multiverse, and I'm not doing it. I don't care if it's Warner's, if it's DCU's, none of it. Not doing this deal.
Brandon, you got any experience with 2 QB leagues? Because a guy like Goff would cost a first plus. But
yeah, in a 2 QB league, he's definitely going to cost a first. I don't probably want to spend my 27 first doing it. I mean, I don't really even love.
I'm
I
not
don't.
paying 3 years of dues to get Jared Goff on my roster.
No, I think it's more. I don't want to pay 3 years of dues to go get Travis Etienne. I think that one. That's the
here's
one
the thing.
Probably...
Look at this next deal. He then trades down from the 909 and 1404 and gets 2 placeholder picks and a 28 first back.
Okay,
so it's kind of like you got the 28 first back.
But
sure.
So that's again, that's looking at the ends and not the means. You know what I mean? Like, just because you got lucky and milked it first out of someone later, that doesn't make it okay. You know what I mean? Like, just not a great analogy, but like if I'm drinking and driving and I make it home, that doesn't mean I did a good job. You know what I mean? Just because this time I didn't crash into the guardrail. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you're basically celebrating.
Now that I see his roster, and it took us 5 minutes to get to the actual meat of the question. Here's his roster. In a 2 QB, yeah, he needed Goff, right? Because he passed on it. And
yeah, he punted on QB, and then he tried to rectify it with a 27 first and a 28 first.
It's the 3 tight end league, right? So he went hog wild getting McBride and Loveland and Ferguson and Andrews, and he netted basically Goff for just the single first because he did get that first back in the startup trade. I mean, I don't care about the 909 and 14. If ETN went in the 8th, I don't care if I trade away the 9th to get a 28 first. You know what I mean? So you did rescue it by getting that 28 first back, but I see Shane's point. Just trading first for Goff doesn't feel good.
No, it doesn't feel good, but at the same time, there really wasn't many, probably wasn't many options at 409 because we leaned him into, taking at the 103 and the 104 for context. We told him to take Trey McBride and Colston Loveland to scare everybody. And then he kept going, and he was like, crap, I probably need to get a quarterback here. Spent the 27 first to get Goff. So I have
thoughts on that. I talked about it in voice chat. You go to such an extreme that, Shane, you start a 3 tight end league, and all of a sudden in round 4 you're taking Mark Andrews, and it goes just to the extreme. You know what I mean? And at some point there's going to be, and I don't know the league how savvy they are with the format, but I've done this before. I went through my stage where I'll, get in leagues where they're just so skewed to one strategy, and then I leaned into it harder than others, and then guess what? I try to wait for the market to catch up, and then 5 years later, they've never realized it's a point per carry league. You know what I mean? And you're holding all these extra running backs and tight ends, and you're like, hey, does anybody want to trade, dude? Remember? Brandon, it's a 3 tight end league here. I need at least a first for Mark Andrews. And you're just like, nah, I'll pass. I'll just pick somebody up off waivers. So anyway, Brandon, Dorf does fantasy. Always ask good questions on here.
Dorf, where you been, man? You haven't been here for a while.
We've missed Dorf for a little bit. Yep, but he's back. He's got a big trade here. He has a 10 by 11, 3 receivers, got offered a 27 first, plus Jalen Warren, plus Rico Dowdle for Nico and a 27 second, Brandon. This is a 10 by 11. And just remember, QBs are not as valued here. So I like the 27s, but the crowning jewel of the 27 being the QBs, I don't know. What do you think?
So he's having trouble trading my other wide receivers. Do I try to sell Nico?
Yep.
So that I can use my depth guys.
Here's his team. So he's got all these receivers and Adams, Pittman, McLaurin, Alec Pierce, Godwin, Debo. Nobody wants any of those guys. The guy he can move.
Nobody wants Burden?
Maybe Burden. But
I mean, obviously when he was probably getting the offers, this was before DJ Moore got traded. So
he's also got Jamar Chase and CD Lamb.
You got Jamar and CD, so you're fine anyway. Sure. I mean, this team's loaded. My goodness. He had Achane, Barkley. I saw a couple of more pieces in there.
Yeah, I mean, Genty, Achane, Barkley. The thing is, you're also adding Jalen Warren and Rico Dowdle.
Yeah.
That probably replaces Nico Collins to some degree, and then you're also getting the 27 first for second swap, which in a 10-teamer, I'd rather do that. So yeah, this is an easy deal, don't you think?
Yeah, that's an easy. Yeah. Given what else he has, I'm fine because I'm not going to really need to. If you lose,
dude,
Nico,
he's built this team up
It's
he
a
has built
machine.
this
It's
team
great.
up. It is just like you're sitting there going, man, Chris Godwin is your 9th guy off the bench. You know, you're
pretty
so
good.
far deep with
Yeah.
that. So
No,
cool.
that's a great one. He's got plenty of. He's got Alec Pierce. He's got Burden. He's got plenty of pieces that are going to pop that people are going to want. Yeah, that's fine. Sell Nico. Get the 27 first.
Guy also off Javon Warren for Terry McLaurin instead. Would you rather do that or just take this Nico deal?
I want the first.
Yeah, me too. I can use
want the
McLaurin
first.
pretty much the same way I can use Nico. I think.
What if it's Tyler Warren? Yeah, Tyler Warren.
I mean, that's a different story. It's a totally different story.
I think it's Jalen because Jalen was in the other deal.
Okay, that makes.
But I mean, sure, I guess it could be, but I'm assuming it was Jalen Warren from McLaurin. Anyway, Shane, we got one from old Dustin Bennett. We have a 12 by 11 Superflex, 2 PPR for tight ends, 6-2, 25-man rosters, 4-man taxi. Now this, Brandon, is how you format a question right here. Look at that. Just beautifully in one line. It flows. T-Law, and then we have Cousins, Mac Jones, Shador Sanders, Riley Leonard. That is how you build a QB2 there from the dust particles. We got Pacheco, B-Rob, Caleb Johnson, more backups, Lamb, Burden, Jacoby, Butte, Trey Harris, Shamir, DK. Fannin, Kittle, Kincaid, Strange, Chiga Conquo, all picks, 104 and beyond, 2 extra thirds, all futures. Took over this as an orphan. Soft rebuild leading into the format. Also, any QB and running back rooms. So I can remind you of the format, Shane, here real quick, just so you have it in the top of your mind. 12 by 11, 2 PPR, 6-2, 25-man rosters. He traded away Brian Thomas Jr. and pick 111 for Luther Burden, a mid-second, and he got Pacheco and Butte. What do you think about that first deal?
I don't like it. I guess you would say BTJ and Burden are a wash. I'm still a little higher on BTJ. I guess the 111 for projected mid-second and Pacheco and Booty isn't bad, I guess, but I don't like it. I mean, I always talk about the psychological factor of having a first over a second, even if it is just a 4-pick swap, 5-pick swap. I would have held on to BTJ and the pick 111, to be quite honest with you. Then traded Stroud and Swift for Mac Jones and Brenton Strange and B-Rob, Jarquez Hunter, and a 27th third. I mean, I hate that too. So we're just going
Brandon's
down.
shaking his head the whole time. I mean, he says, he says Mac Jones and Stroud are the same.
What?
I don't agree. Mac Jones has a lot to get back to getting where Stroud is today, even if you don't think Stroud is that good.
I mean, even still, like, even if that's the case, like, why would I send DeAndre Swift for Strange, B-Rob? Like, there's just a bunch of fluff. Like, I would just rather send Swift for Strange. Like, there's just, like, if I'm getting all those, like, what am I going to do on the back end of my roster with Jarquez Hunter and the 27th third? Like,
it feels like that deal needed to be like Mac Jones, Brenton Strange, and a first for Stroud and Swift. Yeah. And then you're like, okay, now I can make the Mac Jones versus Stroud bet because I got a first. And if Mac Jones is a starter, then I probably feel okay with starting him. But it feels like you basically did a 5 for 2 and you got all quantity and really no quality other than maybe one piece. I don't know.
There's a lot of loose change for a shiny quarter on that deal. That's what it feels like. I just picked up my pocket, pulled out my pocket. I'm like, oh, look, I got a cool coin from, the Mystic Aquarium. Like, cool.
Exactly.
That has no value to, like, that's what B-Rob and Jarquez feel to this deal.
That's what I was going to say. It's almost like it's a toonie. It's sure it's money to someone, but not to anyone that actually matters. Sure.
And I think the thing is that you actually, the other team that got rid of Jarquez Hunter and the third and Brian Robinson is going, man, that's 3 roster spots I just freed up. They're feeling good because now they have some extra pieces.
Yeah, there's just some strategy to it, that like next level strategy that we're seeing that we're just like,
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I happen to like Stroud probably more than most, but the best case scenario is Mac Jones gets to a point where he's where Stroud is today, where he's got a locked in job and he know that he's probably going to be around for a little while, but it's not like either of them have super high fantasy ceilings anyway. So cool. Appreciate the question, Dustin. Shane, we'll go back to you and then we'll hit Brandon. He has 2 questions. 12 by 10, 1.0 premium. Reigning champ with too many players that I can start. Sent Travion Henderson and got Parker Washington and a 28 first. Shane, I'll hit you with this first one.
I would like to hear the rest of his roster. I mean, I'm okay.
There's his RB room: Achane, McCaffrey, Hampton, and Derrick Henry and DeAndre Swift.
So yeah, legitimately he was your
legitimately
RB1,
a lot
2,
of guys
3,
you can
4.
start.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. All right, good. You done good, Brandon.
No, Brandon.
I'm not sending Travion Henderson for Parker Washington in a 2028 first. I want a 27 first. I want at least a 27 first.
I want like 2 more inches, but we don't get what we want in life.
I get it, but that's not how I'm sending Travion Henderson.
Oh, okay, but do you agree with forget about the player for a second? He's obviously not thinking Travion Henderson's about to explode because he chose to trade him away. Are you okay with the idea of trying to liquidate a running back here? And maybe this is the best offer he can get. And hopefully he can use Parker Washington. It's a start 10. If Parker Washington's now your wide receiver 6,
because you got too many players that you could start. I hope you don't have too many people that are just chilling on your bench and you got to start making cuts. That's the other problem.
That's the problem is you're sitting here going like, if you traded for Parker Washington and now he's fighting for Derrick Henry and DeAndre Swift to be in your lineup, then I probably would have rather just had like a second, you know what I mean? Instead of getting a player in that deal. But anyway, Brandon.
Can I send DeAndre Swift for Parker Washington straight up and then I don't feel so bad and I still got Hendo? Can I send McCaffrey or Henry for that 28 first and just walked away? Sure. And just walked away. Like that's probably, I just don't think I need to send probably my second most liquid running back in the room for a pick that's 2 years from now.
I would say Achane and Hampton have much more liquidity than Hendo. I mean, sure, Hendo had 2 good runs last year and those were electrifying and it was beautiful. What else did he do? The dude got absolutely mothballed in the playoffs. The what do you call those people? The Patriots were getting their heads beat in, and Mike Verbal was like, nope. I'd rather keep running Ramondre Stevenson out there than you. You can't help us. I get it. I like it.
But you know what people aren't going to care about in July? The Super Bowl run. Nobody's going to care.
No. I'm just saying. I don't care that it happened, except for the sense that it happened. I don't. You know what I mean? No, that makes no sense. But I just mean in the sense that like. His coach showed absolutely no faith in him. Now,
yes,
he's a rookie. Sure, right. that could be more tied into it, but
we can agree on the production piece. I think there's just this.
We had to get into it because we had to play this sounder because we were getting to the home stretch here. So we'll continue. We're going to rapid fire.
At best, it's your RB4. So I get not wanting a 28 to push out like that, but I'm guaranteeing you he went through the 2027 options. Let's go.
So he just ignores the sounds and keeps going. All right, Brandon, Jeffrey Jacobs has a second question we got to hit. Orphan here in the 105, and he's headed into a rebuild. He sent Marv, Rashad White, and the 305, and he got Quentin Johnston and a 27 first. What do you think?
Rebuild. Sure, I got... Best assets, maybe the 27 first. If it's a mid first, sure. Not a great
This would
price,
be a deal
whatever.
I could do on the other side too. If I really wanted to get, I mean, you could argue Rashad White, QJ kind of cancel each other out. And if you want to give up 27 for Marv, if he was a guy you want, sure. But I get it. Rebuild, get more liquid. All right, Brandon. FF Matt D. We'll go to him next. He has a 12 by 11, 1.75. May, Brissett, Anthony Richardson, RJ Harvey in cans, Ladd, Josh Downs, Alec Pierce, Trey Harris, Trey McBride, Harold Fannin, David Njoku, Shiga Konko. He's got the 4th, the 7th, and the 9th pick this year, 2 seconds and 2/3 this year, and an extra 27 seconds. So not a great roster, probably not a contender. I mean, you got a couple decent pieces, McBride, May, Fannin, Ladd, but really only Harvey and cans, not really a second QB. Got an offer of Ladd and the 107 for Cam Ward and Luther Burden. There's the team. So remember, you get Ward and Burden for Ladd and the 107, Brandon. What are you doing?
I'm taking Ward and Burden and running as fast as I can.
Because you're filling that QB and 107, you're probably not doing that.
Well, and I'm also kind of upgrading and from an ADV perspective right now with Luther Burden. Like I could move Burden into almost any wide receiver from KTZ value, like 10 to 30.
Yeah.
So
Burden and Ladder, that they can be a wash for me. And if you don't have a second QB and you give up the 107 for Ward, I think all of us would do that. And I'm not even a big Ward fan, but but you drafted Ty Simpson over Ward. You know what I mean? Like that's where you're kind of equating that quote unquote loss or gain at receiver. Doesn't matter here. Good deal. Shane got another one from Matt. 12 by 11, 1.5 premium. Start 2 tight ends. Hurts, Darnold, Shuck, Bijan, Tootin, Cans, Michael Wilson, Travis Hunter, Aya Manor, Trey Harris. That is a rough receiver room right there. He's got 101, 109, 106, 110, 201, 206, some thirds, and an extra 27 for Shane. What does he do? He needs some help. This is probably a roster review team, but any quick thoughts?
Quick thoughts would be Bijan, and then we got the Warren. Tight ends are good. 2 tight end. Yeah, I'm probably going to try to trade off Mr. Hurts and Bijan. And
we have the 101 too.
I have the 101. That's cool. So I'll try to trade off the 101, Bijan, and Hurts. Or, look, if you want to not give up the ghost that easily, you could say, well, I'm going to take the 101. Maybe I could split that into a couple picks this year so I can try to reload.
He wants to compete.
Okay, fine. So take that 101, see if you can get multiple firsts in this draft to get multiple wide receivers, because you need every wide receiver. You have your best your wide receiver 1 is a wide receiver 4. So that's not great. After Bijan, it's not good. I'm going to be honest with you. You're not competing this year, Matt.
Get a roster review.
You're not
Code Chill 15. You can get one. We'll go through the whole team for 50 minutes. Because I think there's a way you can compete, Shane.
There is, but I mean, yeah, sure.
You got to be really on the margins. You got too many QBs.
Deals.
You don't have any receivers. You got to grind probably with.
He's got to make some process deals. It would be like Bijan for a running back and a pick, or a wide receiver and a pick. It'd be that 101 for a player and a pick, or a couple picks. It would be the same thing with Hurts. Like, who else can I cut? Like, oh, he already has Shuck, but like, could I get a quarterback like Shuck and something else for Jalen Hurts? Like, you'd have to do a couple things that probably won't make you feel very good inside, to be quite honest with you. You're closer to not competing than competing, but like Scott said, get the roster review and we can go through it and you can tell us which direction you want to take it. You could compete. I don't know that you could win, because you're going to be, in order to compete, this is counterintuitive, you're going to have to use your best assets to compete, which is only going to make you compete, not win.
Tongue twister right there. Well, we always say you can ask unlimited trades, and Matt has one more, Brandon. 12 by 10, 1.5. He's got Dak, Penix, backups. Neighbors, Marv, Adunze, Christian Watson, Troy Franklin, Connor, Chuba, Cans, Harold Fannin, and then the following picks. He traded away his first in season, and it ended up being the 103. Hate to see it. Probably going through a tank year in 2026. Have all future picks. So there's the team again. Inbox offer. T-Law and the 309 for Neighbors. So he was already thinking a tank year. But he's adding T-Law in this deal for Neighbors. You doing that?
If you want to lean into the ugly wide receiver, sure. Why not? Like, if you're gonna punt, like, at least I know I have T-Law and Dak going into 2027. Like, my wide receivers are going to be kind of uncomfortable. I'm going to have Marv. I'm going to have Undunze. I'm going to probably assume that's Christian Watson and Troy Franklin. Like, I'm just going to lean in. We had a team like this kind of earlier, right, where you just have ugly wide receiver. You're just going to lean into it. You could use those picks. We did a community mock today, so you can definitely take a look at some of that stuff. And you can lean into those pieces, and then, maybe you get a 2020 early 2027 first with punting, and maybe you get a shot at old Jeremiah Smith.
I don't think I'm doing it, because if I'm punting, I like T-Law. I'm not just trading for him for the security that he'll be my future QB. Like, I almost rather have Neighbors going forward than the extra year of T-Law, but he's just trying to kind of shore his QB room up. But if you do that, you're kind of saying, okay, Penix is dust. You know what I mean? Penix is actually the kind of guy I want to bet on a team like this where I'm not contending, because if he is good, he can fill that spot next year, and I don't have to worry about replacing QB.
So then do you trade Dak then?
No.
To try and get younger?
No.
Like, just something like Cam Ward and a plus?
Sure. What can I add to Dak to get Trevor Lawrence?
Sure. Something, I mean, can I do the 111 in Dak to get Trevor Lawrence? I don't know. Not that I want to do that, but not that I want to burn the first that way, but I guess I don't. If I'm trying to punt, I don't want Dak. Like that's
If
the
I'm-
worst thing you want because it's like a top 5 quarterback in fantasy.
Yeah, but if I'm punting, I'm not just fixing my QB room and then punting a year. I'm not trading Neighbors for T-Law to plan for 2027 and beyond. So, like, I don't really feel like you have to make that move right now. But thank you for all the questions, Matt D. We definitely got to quite a few of those. Shane, we got Taylor made 12 by 10, 1.75, 6 point per passing TD. Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy backups. Kenneth Walker, Chuba Hubbard, Brian Robinson. We got Luther Burden, Travis Hunter, Pat Bryant, Keyshawn Butte, Fannin, Gunnar Helm, and loaded with picks this year 101, 102, 105, 201, 304 through 308, and then 527 first. So here's the team. Pretty good team to have all this draft capital, including 8 firsts, basically, and all of them being 27 or top 5 picks this year. He got offered George Pickens for 105, Travis Hunter, and Chuba Hubbard. Are you doing that on this roster?
No, I'm fine just taking whichever wide receiver falls to me there. No, I'm not doing that. And
Says
and
he
I
wants
actually,
to draft a receiver at 102,
okay,
but needs a QB as well. He's got Jaden Daniels and JJ and backups.
Yeah, I would suggest drafting Fernando Mendoza at 102 personally, or using the pick to try to get a quarterback if you're not comfortable drafting a rookie, and you think you're going to compete. You have the 10, what was it, 105? I'd rather. I mean, if
we
you
got
want to
101, 102, and 105.
Yeah, I'm going to pass on the George Pickens deal. I think you could get a first for Travis Hunter in some circles. Some people still believe. So that's almost like 2 firsts for George Pickens, one of them being really early, and Chuba, and it's 12 by 11, was it? Is that what it was? And I think this team's super thin. I don't think you can afford to do that, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, it's 12 by 10. But here's the thing.
Okay.
You can compete with what you have if you draft Jeremiah Love, Fernando Mendoza, and the receiver at 105. They just need to be good. Yeah. We've seen draft classes when you have 3 of the top 5 picks like that, if 2 of them are good. This team's in the mix. Is it going to be the best team? No. But you got guys you can start. You got Walker, you got Chuba, you got Love, you got a viable receiving core with a couple guys you can play. And you still got 527 first. That's the thing.
I was going to say, just get to the dance.
You don't have to tap those until you're mid-season and you're 500 and you're like, oh, maybe I'll spend a couple of these. But yeah, just don't overthink it. I think that's one where, you're trying to navigate the draft, but you have 102, 101, and 105. You're guaranteed to get Mendoza, Love, and a receiver. And so I wouldn't even consider a receiver at 2 because then you probably just end up getting 2 receivers. I think that's it. Oh, we had one more straggler that came in. Brandon, we'll go to you first. Shawn says 12 by 10, super flex, no PPR, or no tight end premium PPR. No point per carry either. He's got Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, Kirk Cousins, Mac Jones, JT Swift, Warren, Rashad White, B-Rob. Love that running back room. And then CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Nico Collins, Rashee Rice, Terry McLaurin, Chris Godwin, and then a nice tight end room of Tonjes and Parkinson. Perfect for the non-tight end premium room where you're just shooting for whatever you can get. 104, 111, 212, extra 27 first. Would you give up, Brandon, Rashee Rice in the 104 and the 212 for Trey McBride in a non-tight end premium here with this team?
Yes.
All right, great.
Yeah,
Shane,
because I'm never Rashee Rice should never be in the starting lineup, and I get to massively upgrade to McBride.
That's a good point.
Like
you're nuking like F1 on this team by having Rashee Rice, but you're also starting Jake Tonjes or Toby Parkinson. You're literally going to the very top, right? At the
and you know what? And you know what else you're duking? You're duking the 104 because you're never going to start that wide receiver.
No, you're never starting.
You're never so now you're taking 2 of the pieces that you would never use to find one starter that you absolutely would start over Jake Tonjes, even if George Kittle is out and Colby Parkinson.
I agree with you. Shawn, thank you for the question. We got one final one. Super chat, boys, from Jeffrey Rhodes 9617. Thank you, Jeffrey, for the super chat. Very generous of you. We'll get everybody's take since he gave us $20 for the super chat. We'll end it with this. Which way to go, Shane, in a 1 QB 12 teamer, start 8? So basically, totally shift your mindset from everything we've talked about for the last 59 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
1 QB, start 8. PPR only, no tight end premium. QB room, Herbert and Prescott. Running back room of Cook, CMC, Judkins, Monungai, Rashee Rice, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, Ricky Pearsall, Colston Loveland. Reasons to believe in this team, but risky. Do I sell 27 picks? What do I target? So remember, start 8, no super flex.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean,
what you see is his starters, and at least he does have an elite tight end probably. So what are you doing?
I mean, he has an elite tight end, and he has 2 elite running backs, a third really strong running back, a fourth pretty good running back. I feel like you could compete. The wide receiver room is a little troublesome. The quarterback room also, Herbert and Prescott are just, I mean, they're fine in a 12-by-8. I know I'm talking about whichever one you start. But neither of them feel like the guy that, I don't know, in a 12-by-8, you know, in a 1 quarterback league, I always want the quarterbacks that can put up like those truly crooked numbers.
How much would you pay? If I gave you Josh Allen, would you give up your 27 first?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And now that he's got DJ
Dak
Moore.
and Herbert on the team?
Yeah. I mean, look, it'd be too many quarterbacks. It definitely would. I would try to move Herbert and Prescott first. See if I could get even like a second, a late second, mid-second, whatever. That's fine. But yeah, I would pay up for Allen. I will say this: it's a non-tight end premium. How much can I get for Loveland in a non-tight end premium? I understand the positional advantage and all that, but let me just test the market. Like, could I move Loveland for Chase Brown plus? You know what I mean? Could I pull something like that off? Now I don't know how many running backs you could start. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I mean,
probably
start
not.
8. We're probably looking at you can flex 2 running backs at most.
Yeah, and you probably can already flex Judkins. Although, I mean, Chase Brown over Monungai by quite a while, but you really do need wide receiver help more than anything. And yes, that 1 quarterback. If we go get Allen Hurts, Jackson Dart, even something like that.
Brandon, it's hard for me to justify paying anything for a QB when I have Herbert and Dak. I know they're not elite, but like they're both probably top 12. So it's like almost you're stuck in a platoon here where you just got to hope you guess right with those weekly. You have 1 pick, 127 first. What are you doing with it on this team?
I'm pairing it up with any one of Rice, Devonta Smith, and Waddle and just going up. That's start 8.
Drake London, Rice in first for Drake London. You'd do that?
Sure. Can I get a second back? I don't even care what the pick is. Like just something to make me feel warm and fuzzy on the inside. Like just something that I can use as another ammo piece later on in the season if I have to backfill somewhere else. I mean, I'm fine with Herbert and Prescott. I could sell one of them, you know, maybe go down a tier because you're not going to need to start both of them. It's a 1 QB. Like I don't know what the market would be though for a Herbert or a Prescott. Like a Dak, you're probably only going to get a second. So maybe you pair that with Rice. Can you do Dak, Rice, and a first and see what you can get? Maybe you can get an upgrade at wide receiver and maybe get another. Because I do like the idea of trading Loveland. I do like that idea. Like maybe I can get a tight end later that I can then use Loveland to get another wide receiver.
I'm guessing you can get a Dalton Schultz type for nothing, like 0. So like if you wanted to just play gross at tight end, you could backfill Loveland with just. Now, let me ask you this. Would you give up your Rashee Rice and the 27 first for the 103?
No, I don't think I need to do that.
Because you do that, you're getting the upgrade, but I bet you that 103 rookie receiver is not helping your team win right now with this group of running backs, which you can't afford to just play the dynasty value game there. You know what I mean? You need production.
Right. You want production. You don't want to be playing the risky game. And how many times is the 103 going to start over Rice and Smitty?
Yep.
Probably not many times. So now you're just putting another guy that looks like Waddle on your bench. That's just not good.
Yep. Very true. Well, boys, that is it for the evening. We had Jackson Tribe, Dynasty Marc, Russell Yost, Mike Conron, Vaapad, Roy G, Dorf, Dustin Bennett, Jeffrey Jacobs, Matt D, Shawn, and TaylorMade. And then the final question came from Jeffrey Rhodes. We appreciate all the support. Every Friday night, Dynasty Deal Show at 8 p.m. Jump in our community, patreon.com/allgas or ddfantasyfootball.com. Until next week, Ty will be back. Enjoy free agency, and we're out.